Good afternoon. Up now we have Sneaky Steam. So I'll introduce you now to Kevin Daniels, and he is the CEO and founder of Fun in Motion Toys, and Bob Becker. He's the inventor of HyperTiles.
All right. Wow. Thank you. Thanks for coming. So, as was mentioned, the theme here is going to be Sneaky Steam. And my job is to do a good job of introducing Bob, who's an amazing inventor, who has a lot of good information to convey to you. What I wanted to just point out is that for us as a toy company, we kind of found ourselves involved in STEAM and STEM toys kind of unexpectedly. When we were started, it was more like outdoor toys, LED toys, and then a lot of people know us because of Shishibo, which is a shape-shifting box, magnetic. It's got polarity, so you've got the science of magnetics. You also have the art or symmetry that goes with it. You have geometric shapes that are part of it. And you also have the ability to combine and build structures. So you have the architectural part. The only thing it doesn't have is the technology, which is part of why a lot of us are trying to eliminate that, or at least minimize the use of technology if possible. HyperTiles, which Robert will be speaking about, is one of those types of ideas. The other thing I wanted to point out is that I've heard more and more people talking about the value of physical toys versus virtual toys. And our belief is that the things that are really going to stand out and succeed going forward are going to be the toys that are the physical toys that bring additional value to the parents, to the children. And what is that? And that's where STEM and STEAM can definitely make a difference. If there's toys that are bringing that kind of value, it's going to rise above and be able to compete against the move towards virtual toys. So that's an important point I wanted to make. The beauty of HyperTiles, and this is not really about HyperTiles, it's more about the idea of how you can incorporate a toy like it in teaching. We have a lot of times teachers reach out to us and they want to know more about our products. So we've created an EDU division. We actually have somebody who had worked for the Boys and Girls Clubs, who have been a teacher, who works with us full time. We're getting involved more and more with schools and going down that path. And it feels good to be able to offer that kind of value in toys. So with that said, HyperTiles and Robert will speak about how it could be applied, but it is STEM and STEAM accredited, as are many of our toys. And it was actually up for Toy of the Year this year in the educational space in the category. So we're very proud of that. And that's about all I wanted to say. I think the rest of it is really going to be Robert, who is a retired 30-plus year chemistry teacher. Had this vision for an idea of a product, and that's what became HyperTiles. I'll let him explain it a little further and how it applies, and thank you for giving us the time.
This working okay? Great. So yes, welcome to Sneaky Steam, and as Kevin pointed out, that's science, technology, engineering, art, and math. And yes, I'm Robert Becker. I taught 36 years in the classroom, loved it. Had this idea for a construction toy 30 years ago, but was busy teaching, raising a family. So I finally got around to putting it into fruition upon retirement about 5 years ago. Was gonna have this be just a retirement hobby out of my garage for the rest of my retirement, and then had the amazing good fortune to have Fun in Motion Toys approach me about wanting to license the IP, and sure, bring it on. So I could not have asked for a better partner in terms of that. So, ready for the program? Yeah. First off, you have the HyperTiles around. Let's give them a little test drive. And you already opened the bag. That's great. I love it. Just take out one tile and just examine it. It's a really special shape. Okay? Don't cheat. Don't touch the connectors yet. Just one tile. And I've got two questions to ask you. Okay? And by the way, my presentation sneaks in some STEAM lessons too. So be prepared to learn something. Yeah. First thing I want you to consider is that shape curved? And you're thinking, duh. Well, just think about it. Yes or no question. We'll come back to this. And second question, don't do it yet, but if you took out a connector and started putting two together, how many different two-tile structures do you think you could create? And I'm talking flush edge to edge like the one shown there, because you can stagger them and get all kinds of things. Just flush edge to edge. There's 4 sides, but a lot of the sides are similar. Just to think about it. That's called a thought experiment. Yep. I'm sneaking it in, I'm telling you right now. Okay, so you'll have time to play with them. Oh, I love it. She's already got it going there. Yes. Think about that. Okay. So we're going to start with, well, I hate to say it, it's first and it's favorite for me because I taught it for 36 years. We're going for the science. And I'm going to show you how there's science kind of baked into the HyperTile, but I'm going to go beyond that and talk about how we're also sneaking these lessons in as children play with them. Ha! You didn't think you were going to chemistry lesson here at the toy fair, but yes. That shape, now the perimeter of that shape is called a tetrahedron. Okay? And that's a special shape. It's been around for a long time. It's one of the 5 platonic solids, yeah. And it's also the structure of carbon. And why is that important? Because we're carbon, aren't we? Carbon chemistry, organic. Who remembers a little bit of organic from, yeah, okay, keep your hands down. We won't go there. But it's essentially in our molecules to appreciate this shape, okay? It's in us. It's in the fuels. That happens to be octane, like gasoline. There's the HyperTile version. Yeah, you can use these for building little molecules. It's in our DNA to appreciate that structure. And yeah, you knew there'd be a HyperTile version of DNA, that little double helix. So it's there. But that doesn't, what I've shown you so far doesn't show that playing with this is sneaking in the steam. And when I mean sneaking, kind of like as parents, we like to sneak vegetables in, you know, make that food healthy. Zucchini bread, think about it. What's that all about? Right? It's sugar, but it's got zucchini in it, so it's healthy. So we're sneaking some of these steam lessons in. And I would say here's the main selling point for HyperTiles and other things from Fun and Motion Toys. It's open-ended exploration, okay? If I do A, how will that change B? Okay? You start playing with these, and I'm sorry, folks, it does not come with a 70-page instructions of how to put HyperTiles together to end up with some Battlestar Galactica when you're done, and oops, you made a wrong move, and step 382, so you got to start all over again. No, and that's not what science is about. Science is about open-ended exploration. It's also about expecting the unexpected. It really is. And that's a skill you have to hone. Be prepared for it. I was caught off guard. I had to expect the unexpected because I was picturing, honestly, I mean, cool structures. The one I first had in mind was this one right here, which I love, but I was picturing just rigid structures, right? Totally caught off guard when I started playing with these and got that. And if it weren't for that, I don't think Fun and Motion would have been very interested in just static structures because there's so much more involvement, so much more engagement when they move. Fun and Motion, okay? Here was, I warned you there'd be a little chemistry lesson, chirality. I'm not going to ask for a show of hands, but hopefully some of you came up with the answer of 2, that there are 2 shapes possible. The one I showed you, and then that one. The one I showed you to begin with, we call zigzag, and this other one, spiral. Any other combination is going to come up with just a repeat of that, except not quite. If I took the mirror image of the oh, that's the 2 shapes, right. If I took the mirror image of the zigzag, is that the same thing? It is. That's nothing new. But if I take the mirror image of the spiral, that's not the same. And to help illustrate that, imagine a screw, which is a spiral, and its mirror image. Those may look the same, but they're not. Even if I flip it around, that would behave differently. And the cool thing is that plays a major role, especially in biochemistry, biology, molecules that are different, they're mirror images. So that actually, there's a left and right spiral that makes actually 3 shapes. Does playing with these HyperTiles at an early age help 20 years later, when that kid is taking organic chemistry to understand chirality? I would say yes. Okay. So chirality, the fact that mirror images are not always the same thing. Here comes the next one, technology. And Kevin rightfully pointed out that we're trying to get kids off the screen, but I do need to give credit to technology because that was my first prototype 30 years ago. Duct tape and toothpicks, okay? And I actually built and took out my VCR recorder and recorded this model made with duct tape. And I thought, even if that's all it does, that'll be worth it someday. Well, fast forward 30 years, thank you technology, 3D printing allowed me to make a nice prototype. And of course, the ones you have are not 3D printed, they're injection molded, but the prototype was critical, okay? So I've showed you technologies baked in, but still, when we talk about planting seeds for technology, we're not talking about kids playing on computers, playing video games. We're talking about them writing code, designing the games, right? We're talking about them becoming contributors, producers, and one of the most important things, breaking down tasks into logical steps and sequences. That is what programming is all about, okay? And there's a neat little activity I have kids do sometimes, connect a blue to the right side of the red. So here are two kids. The boy on the left has made a structure using 4 colored HyperTiles, and his sister, back to back, has the same 4 but doesn't know what order to put them in. You see where I'm going with this? He has to figure out a way to convey, step by step, a logical order for putting them together. That is a wonderful form of play, and they were fairly successful. That's definitely a skill that can be honed, and it's a way to sneak in some STEAM lessons there on technology. Also, you're going to love this one, coding. What is a code? It's like a language, right? So, signature crowns and necklaces, ready? Yeah. Use HyperTiles to make codes like this. A is a red-orange, B is a red-yellow, and so forth, right? There's an alphabet. So, those same two kids, what have they done? They've written out their names, their signature names and chains. Because there's Elijah, right? And here is Vivian. Vivian had it so she can read it. She didn't think to turn around for the camera, but that's okay, right? Still works. Vivian is now putting hers together in a loop. Now, once you put it in a loop, the code's gone. Well, it's still there, but where do you start? This is wonderful, sneaky STEAM, all of it. And she likes hers as a crown. Her brother Elijah decides to go with a necklace. So that's technology. They're not on the screen for that, but they're using skills that'll put them in good standing when they take technology courses, computer science courses later on, because the idea of coding and the idea of logical steps. Engineering, I should point out to you that shape is called a hyperbolic paraboloid. That's a mouthful. A hyperbolic paraboloid is an incredibly stable structure from an engineering point of view and has been used in architecture, engineering. That's great. Beautiful hyperbolic surfaces. I'll explain later on exactly what hyperbolic means. But still, is this sneaking in the STEAM lesson? I'd say yes, because one of the most important things in engineering is problem solving, creative problem solving. That's true really for all these, but I think especially for engineering. So here's something I do when I go into the classrooms. I have the students have a little competition, friendly competition, so you can build the tallest freestanding tower using, say, 8 tiles and 8 connectors. Here's Elijah giving it a try. I think he's just got 7 there, but he's off to a good start. Okay, and that's not easy because they hinge, okay? Form and function. I was in the classroom and this young lady came up to me. She was so proud. That's a purse she made with a strap and a little bag beneath it that she was putting some stuff in, and she wanted to show that to me. That's engineering, right? Fun in motion? How about engineering in motion, okay? This young lady was obsessed with making little 5-pointed stars. Although those are nice, kids make them very quickly. She says, no, 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 watch this. I wish I had videotaped her doing it. I had to recreate it. Here's what she showed me. You ready for this? So there's the star. And oh, look at that. She figured out it could hinge into the same star inside out, which is, I think, cool. And what came to my mind right away is that's engineering in motion. And I thought, of course, the Webb telescope and other things that NASA puts up, they're always folded up first. And then they take some 20,000 unfoldings. Will this young lady stand a better chance of landing a job at NASA because she played with HyperTiles in her 4th grade classroom? Definitely. Okay? I'll put a definitely on that one. Okay, art's where it all started. And I mean that literally. I mean, look up here at my distinguished panel. Aren't they works of art? Of course they are. But I took a course back in college. We're talking 1982, before 3/4 of you were born, probably, from this gentleman, Erwin Hauer. Unfortunately, he passed away a while back before I was able to bring these to fruition. But look at his sculptures, and then look at some of these. And you see where the inspiration came from. Repeating hyperbolic surfaces. Beautiful structures of building elements and sculptures. And my plan was to come up with a building system that kids could use to kind of recreate some of Erwin Hauer's work. And I think I succeeded at that. Yeah? Very similar. But still, are we sneaking in the art skills there? And I'd say yes, because what's the main thing with art? I have to say creativity. Aren't those some wonderful structures? You're saying, wait, what's that girl in the middle holding up? Can you see what she's holding up? That's her HyperTile structure with no HyperTiles, just the connectors all stuck together. Love it. I'd say that's creative. Pushing the limits of the medium you're using. That's certainly an issue with art. This girl right here holding up those stars joined together. I didn't know you could do that. And that opened up a whole big realm of different possibilities that you could link those together, pushing the limits like that. Finally, mathematics. I should have started with this because, after all, that is a mathematical shape. A hyperbolic paraboloid. There's going to be a quiz later on, so definitely get that down. That's the equation. It's a gorgeous shape. And here we go. Ready? You're familiar with spherical. That's hyperbolic. Spherical, positive curvature. It's curved all one way. See that and that? It's curving both, here are my 5 fingers, the same direction, right? Concave, concave. Hyperbolic, negative curvature. Who knew? Curved 2 different ways. So was that shape curved? Yes, but it's weird because look at it. It's made up of nothing but straight lines. How could it be curved? There's 2 different curves like this. Okay? If you're having trouble with that, for the spherical, just think gumball. And for the hyperbolic, yeah, think Pringles. That's what that is, right? And I just thought you'd appreciate the little eye candy of these shapes. 1 minute? Perfect. Okay. There they are, connected in with the different Platonic and Archimedean solids. And I want to point out seeing patterns is a huge part of the math. What comes next? Same with that. Thinking outside the box. Hey, we have plenty of opportunities for our kids to play with flat surfaces and even spherical surfaces. But how often do they get to play with negative curvature, with hyperbolic surfaces? Okay? This woman, you get a chance to listen to her TED Talk. She talks about hyperbolic surfaces. She crochets hyperbolic surfaces into coral reefs. Check out her TED Talk. Anyway, thank you very much. Please come by our booth. And if you want more Sneaky Steam playtime with your HyperTiles, or if you didn't get a chance to play with them, please come by our booth. That's Fun in Motion Toys. Yeah, are there any questions? Because I have 45 seconds left. Or questions of my distinguished panel. Okay, we're good. Hey, thank you so much.